Hey, what's up guys, it's me Pratima and today I will be talking about the OnePlus 10T. I know I am a bit late for this video, but I really wanted to take some time and collect my thoughts on what I really think about this phone. I and my team have used it for around a month, and during all that time I also watched a lot of other reviews of this device. And I found that majority of the reviewers did not have particularly positive things to say about it. However, if you ask me, I think the OnePlus 10T is a pretty good semi-flagship phone with very little compromise. The way I see it, the real problem here is not the phone, but OnePlus's strategies these days. I mean, we knew OnePlus to be a brand that used to stand out, that used to provide cool features, but now its products, including the OnePlus 10T, are very generic. Because of that, I think OnePlus's charm as a brand is diminishing at quite an alarming rate. As Rupesh from B-Bomb pointed out in his video, the number of viewers who watched the OnePlus 10T launch was just around 1 lakh compared to around 9 lakh people who watched the OnePlus 10R video. Yes, a lot of people blame the Oppo-OnePlus merger for this, but in my opinion, there are a couple of other factors involved too. For instance, as I mentioned before, I think OnePlus is not trying to stay different anymore. This phone, the OnePlus 10T, has all the generic specs that there should be in its price range, and you can actually see similar specs in its competition like the iQOO 90 or the Zenfone 9. So yeah, there is nothing exciting and unique about the OnePlus 10T. If you look at the design, it's like if the OnePlus 10 Pro and the Nord 2T had a baby, it would look something like the OnePlus 10T. Here, the camera module and the overall heft resemble the OnePlus 10 Pro, while you get the same not-so-premium feel as the OnePlus Nord 2T. On top of that, they also got rid of the one thing that made their designs different from others: the alert slider. And their justification for that was just ridiculous. No one in the tech world is happy about it, and neither am I. So design-wise, I think they just played it safe by giving what's already out there and accepted. In comparison, if you look at brands like Realme, they are collaborating with designers to make their smartphone designs different. There's Vivo with their innovative color-changing back, and how can we forget the semi-transparent design of the Nothing Phone 1? These brands have gone over the top to create something unique, and I really appreciate that effort from them, which seems lacking from OnePlus's side. And it's not just with the design. The cameras on the OnePlus 10T do not look very inspiring either. Now, don't get me wrong, its 50 megapixel primary camera can pull off some good shots with nice vibrant colors and mostly balanced dynamic range, but the other two lenses are below average for the price. I think the very least OnePlus could have done, given its premium price, is provide a better ultra-wide-angle camera. As it stands, the quality of the ultra-wide-angle shots is only as good as a mid-range phone and nothing more. If I recall, the cheaper OnePlus 9RT had a better ultra-wide-angle camera. Plus, even its primary camera optimization and consistency is not in the same league as the Pixel 6a or Samsung's semi-flagship offerings like the Galaxy A73 or the S21 FE. So what OnePlus could have done with the OnePlus 10T is provide that Hasselblad optimization to make its camera stand out a bit. But again, that is not the case here. Now, talking about the software, the look and feel of the UI in OnePlus phones, including the OnePlus 10T, is not what it used to be before. The camera UI, the inside of setting menus, the multitasking tray, almost everything resembles ColorOS. And the new OxygenOS 13 has added even more ColorOS features. So while using the OnePlus 10T, I didn't feel that excitement that I used to have when using a OnePlus device. Not that it's not optimized well or anything like that though. The company has made sure to optimize the 120Hz refresh rate well. The UI does not feel stuttery even a little bit, and everything just feels smooth here. But if you are a core OnePlus fan, you will feel somewhat betrayed by this merger. However, looking at it from a different perspective, OnePlus's perspective, sure, the merger might result in faster and more stable updates for both the companies, and it might reduce various costs for OnePlus, which can further be put to research, development, and innovation, but nothing of that sort has happened yet, so as a consumer, I have some reservations about it. Alright, on a different note, there are aspects that OnePlus has done well on the OnePlus 10T, starting with the performance side of things. The OnePlus 10T comes with the best chipset Android has to offer right now, the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, and as you would expect, it is really powerful. In all my time with this phone, I played a lot of games, and the phone's power and thermal capacities have really impressed me. I was able to play games like Genshin Impact in the highest settings with very good stability and comparatively fewer heating issues. In one of my gaming tests, I played Genshin Impact for more than 40 minutes and the phone's temperature never reached beyond 42 degrees, which is just excellent. Other relatively less demanding games like PUBG, Call of Duty, Asphalt, etc. run very well in their highest settings. As you can see from this graph, the FPS stability and thermal performance in such games are really commendable too. Sadly, OnePlus has not optimized many 120 FPS games like Oddmar and Injustice 2 to take advantage of higher FPS support though. But I guess this is because the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 is a relatively new chip for game developers, so we can expect to see that fixed through various updates in the future. Likewise, I haven't faced any issues here when it comes to everyday performance. So even though I have complained about a lot of things on the OnePlus 10T till now, performance is not one of them. In fact, this might even be the best performing Android phone right now. And complementing the performance is a fast optical in-display fingerprint sensor and a good vibration motor, so interacting with the OnePlus 10T on a daily basis feels like you're using a flagship phone. I also have very less to whine about its display as we get a good quality AMOLED panel with thin bezels, pleasing color reproduction, nice contrast levels, and viewing angles. So I really enjoyed watching movies and series on the OnePlus 10T. The stereo speakers are decent too. They're not the most balanced and have slightly pronounced highs, but the overall quality is good enough for casual music sessions or watching videos. Finally, I found the battery life on the OnePlus 10T to be satisfactory too. It comes with a 4800 mAh cell with which I was able to get around 7 hours of screen on time in moderate usage that translates to a day worth of endurance for me. On days when I clicked a lot of pictures and gamed a lot, its battery would give up on me at around 6 or 7 in the evening, but I never considered that as an issue because with the 150-watt SuperVOOC charger that you get inside the box, the phone would quickly juice up within 20 minutes and I would be good to go. Alright, so if you're still watching this video till the end, as I said in the beginning, the OnePlus 10T is a very good phone for the price, and if you are a performance-centric user, you will get great utility out of it. But as I said throughout the video, it lacks that OnePlus factor that we used to get from OnePlus phones before. And if you look at the prices, the cost for the T lineup has increased gradually every year, but the equivalent innovation just is not there, to a point where the OnePlus 10T is just like any other phone that you get at this price range, which is the reason why people seem less and less interested in OnePlus phones. I think now is not the time to be competing with specs and specs only, and OnePlus needs a point of differentiation. Previously, it was the fact that they provided competitive specs at a reasonable price, it was the Oxygen OS that everybody loved, and maybe even the alert slider. But now that all that is disappearing, OnePlus needs a plan B, which I hope they come up with soon enough. So guys, with this we've come to the end of this video, and I would really like to know your take on why you think OnePlus has become boring these days. Where did it all go wrong? Is it because of the OnePlus Oppo merger, or you think this is because of something else? Do let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you think. Till then, I'm Pratima Adhikari and I will see you in my next video.